Chapter 3. The Myth of Balance. Why you don't need to do it all. We're told we can have it all: career, family, health, hobbies, social life, rest, and more. The dream of perfect balance sounds empowering, but in reality, it often becomes a trap. Balance is not the goal, fulfillment is. In this chapter, we'll dismantle the myth of balance and explore a more realistic, human, and powerful way to lead a well-designed life. 3.1. The pressure to balance everything. Modern life is filled with an invisible pressure to do it all, be it all, and balance it all perfectly. You're expected to be a high performer at work, an attentive parent, a loving partner, a fit and healthy person, a social butterfly, a spiritual seeker, and a thoughtful friend. All at once, all the time. This pressure isn't just overwhelming, it's unsustainable, and yet so many people silently hold themselves to this impossible standard. The problem is that balance, as it's commonly presented, is a lie. It implies that all areas of your life should receive equal time, attention, and energy at all times. But life isn't built that way. It moves in seasons. Some seasons require more focus on work, others on family, some on healing, some on creating. To pretend that every area should always be balanced is to set yourself up for constant guilt and burnout. When you chase balance, you often end up chasing perfection. You try to be equally productive in all areas and end up stretched thin in all directions. You might accomplish more, but feel less fulfilled. You check the boxes but lose connection to why they mattered in the first place. You fall into the trap of maintenance instead of meaning. It's time to release the myth. You do not need to balance everything. You need to be intentional with what matters most right now. That means making trade-offs on purpose, not by accident. It means letting go of the fear that saying no to one thing is failure, when it's actually wisdom. Fulfillment doesn't come from doing everything, it comes from doing the right things with presence and peace. You are not failing if your life isn't perfectly balanced. You are simply human. The goal isn't to juggle endlessly, it's to choose wisely. You'll feel less pressure the moment you stop trying to balance and start trying to prioritize. Balance isn't a standard, it's a lie disguised as a virtue. Freedom begins when you stop chasing balance and start choosing purpose. 3.2. The myth of equal distribution. One of the most common misconceptions about balance is the idea that it means equal distribution. Equal time for work, rest, family, friends, hobbies, exercise, learning, and creativity. The image we're sold is that if we just plan better, try harder, or wake up earlier, we can give 100% to everything without compromise. But simple math proves this isn't realistic. You can't give 100% to 10 things every day. Something always has to give, and that's not failure. That's reality. Equal distribution might work in theory, but life doesn't unfold in neat, equal blocks. Your energy shifts. Priorities change. Emergencies arise. Some projects demand longer hours. Some relationships need more care. Your body might need more rest. Trying to divide time equally without considering these factors leads to stress, not success. The key isn't to divide time equally, it's to divide it intelligently. Smart time design means recognizing that some areas of life require more attention in certain seasons. A new parent will naturally have less time for socializing or career advancement. An entrepreneur building their first business might need to pull back on hobbies for a while. That's not imbalance, it's intentional focus. As long as these choices are made consciously and not out of fear or guilt, they're not sacrifices, they're investments. When you stop forcing everything to be equal, you start making better decisions. You ask what matters most this week, instead of trying to balance your whole life every day. This short-term prioritization gives you flexibility while still honoring your values. It also helps reduce guilt, because you know what you're choosing and why. Not everything has to be own all the time. The healthiest, most fulfilled people rotate their focus with purpose. They zoom in where needed, then zoom out to realign. It's not chaos, it's rhythm. Equal distribution may look nice on paper, but intelligent rhythm leads to a life that actually works. Balance doesn't require symmetry. It requires wisdom. 3.3. When balance becomes burnout. Ironically, the pursuit of balance often leads to burnout. In trying to do everything well, you end up doing everything in a rush. You multitask, overcommit, and never feel like you're doing enough. You plan every hour, optimize every task, and still go to bed feeling like something's missing. That missing piece isn't more time, it's breathing room. And balance, when misunderstood, squeezes that room out of your life. Burnout doesn't always come from working too much. It comes from working without alignment, rest, or clarity. It comes from constantly shifting gears without pause. When you try to balance everything, you never fully engage in anything. You're always half present, always thinking about what's next, or what's missing, or what you've neglected. That mental fragmentation is exhausting, and over time it erodes both your performance and your peace. You begin to dread the very tasks that once brought you joy. You lose the ability to rest even when you have time. Your nervous system stays on high alert. You feel guilty for taking breaks and ashamed for feeling tired. This is the dark side of the balance myth. It convinces you that rest is indulgent and presence is lazy when in fact they're essential for long-term success. To break this cycle, you must give yourself permission to do less with more intention. Choose one area to focus on and let the others operate in maintenance mode. You're not abandoning them, you're simply not expecting them to flourish at the same time. That shift alone can reduce mental clutter and emotional stress. Balance that costs your well-being is not balance. It's burnout in disguise. True balance includes grace. It includes room for rest, mistakes, messiness, and change. You don't have to carry everything perfectly. You just need to carry the right things at the right time, with the right heart. Burnout begins with imbalance. Healing begins with intention. 3.4 Life happens in seasons. Nature teaches us a truth we often forget. Life moves in seasons. There are seasons for planting, growing, harvesting, and resting. But modern culture tells us to grow constantly, hustle endlessly, and maintain full output at all times. This unnatural expectation creates frustration and fatigue. We weren't meant to operate like machines. We were built to move in cycles of action and reflection, productivity and pause. When you embrace the season you're in, you begin to experience more peace and progress. A season of creation might mean early mornings and long hours. A season of healing might mean slowing down, saying no, and resting more than usual. A season of relationships might mean being home more and working less. Each season brings different needs, rhythms, and opportunities. Your job is not to resist the season, but to recognize it and work with it. Seasons are not permanent. What's needed now may not be needed next month. That's why flexibility is more important than consistency. If you cling to a rigid routine because it used to work, you might miss the wisdom of your current moment. The best plans are those that evolve with you. Adaptability isn't weakness, it's wisdom in motion. When you align your time with your current season, your actions feel more natural. You stop comparing yourself to others who are in different seasons. You stop judging yourself for not being as productive as last month. You learn to trust the cycle. Every season has a purpose. Some are for building. Some are for breaking. Some are for being still. The key is to ask regularly, what season am I in right now? What does this season need from me? What does it want to teach me? Let these answers shape your schedule, your goals, and your expectations. You don't need to force balance across every domain. You need to honor the rhythm of the season you're in. Balance isn't found in uniformity. It's found in alignment with your current reality. 3.5 You can do it all, just not at the same time. The truth is, you can do it all, just not all at once. Trying to accomplish every goal, nurture every relationship, and master every habit in the same season leads to mediocrity or burnout. But when you understand that life is long and made of phases, everything changes. You stop rushing. You stop stacking. And you start sequencing. Sequencing is the key to sustainable growth. Think of your life like a playlist. Each song matters, but not all songs play at the same time. You enjoy one, then move to the next. The same is true for your goals. Instead of juggling everything now, decide what gets your focus this quarter, this year, or even this decade. Create a personal timeline that honors both ambition and humanity. Ambition says, I want to do it all. Wisdom says, Let's do it well, one thing at a time. This approach removes guilt. When you sequence your goals, you don't feel bad for pausing certain pursuits. You know they're not forgotten. They're simply scheduled for later. You don't need to say no forever, just not right now. That clarity brings freedom. It also allows you to give your current focus the energy and excellence it deserves. Sequencing also helps in relationships. You may be in a season of intense parenting, limited social life, or deep career building. Communicating this with others creates understanding. It sets expectations. It reminds people and yourself that this isn't forever. You're just honoring what's needed now. You are not behind. You are building. You are sequencing your life with care, not chaos. And that sequencing is how you achieve more, feel better, and grow deeper, without losing your mind in the process. Doing it all is possible, when you stop trying to do it all right now. 3.6 The comparison trap. You're not behind. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to destroy peace, and one of the most common time traps in modern life. Social media, peer pressure, and cultural norms bombard us with curated glimpses of how others are living, working, and succeeding. It's easy to feel behind. It's easy to look at someone else's highlight reel and wonder if you're falling short. But here's the truth. You are not behind. You're just on a different path. Every person's life unfolds on a unique timeline. What looks like balance or success for someone else may be completely wrong for you. You don't know the full story. You don't see the sacrifices, the trade-offs, or the seasons they've walked through. You only see the output, not the process. And when you compare your real life, with its messy middle and evolving story, to someone else's filtered exterior, it's an unfair fight. You'll always lose a race that was never yours to run.